I really appreciate your time. As Natalia has already mentioned, I work for an organisation called Neighbours. And Neighbours is about bringing people together who are religiously different or ethnically different, for them to get to know one another in a safe environment so they can build relationships of trust, that they can become friends and hopefully work together to bring change in the communities that they're part of. I cover the small area of West London, so I'm generally based in Ealing, but I often come down to sunny Lambeth to spend some of my days, which I always appreciate. So when the pandemic hit, Neighbours were very much about bringing people together in person, and so it was a bit of a challenge for us. So our strapline is bringing people together, but we therefore had to think about how we keep people apart. And so we started to think and explore about how we could keep connections between ourselves and the different communities where we're working, and how we could do that in a safe way. And we're very conscious that for many people that the pandemic was causing various challenges, and we wanted to ask questions about how people were being sustained spiritually and emotionally through these times of isolation and concern for many people. So based on some conversations that I'd actually been part of in Birmingham, we launched a monthly online Zoom dialogue called Connected. And during a session on a Zoom, we brought together people from, it was very much publicised for faiths. And we brought together people of different faiths, and we explored themes that were quite pertinent to the time that we found ourselves in. So we explored themes such as grief. How do we deal with grief, and how do we deal with that differently in our different faith traditions? And then we looked at issues such as loneliness. This last week we've just done one on justice, and there's a lot of unjust situations have come to the forefront in this pandemic. And so basically we would invite one person from a different faith. So every month we do a different faith. So we would have a Jewish rabbi come and share for 10 minutes. They will share a personal reflection on what, for example, grief means to them and how they've experienced grief and what they are to do with their grief in their faith tradition. So they talk about that for 10 minutes. And then everyone has an opportunity to respond to what has been shared, either sharing a scripture that they've held, strongly to through this difficult time, or they might share a song that means a lot and helps keep them going through times of grief. And then we all feed off each other. We've never struggled to fill the hour. It's always gone very, very quickly. And just to say that there's never been any compulsion for people to share. If people have just wanted to listen in and find inspiration from other people, or to learn about different ways that people process these things in the different faith traditions, they've been able to do that. Thankfully, not everyone has been a silent partner, because otherwise it could be a very quick session. But people have spoken and really found comfort in talking about the difficult things like loss, grief, isolation, how we deal with it. And sometimes some of the guilt that we feel as we struggle with those things as well. So it's been a really helpful time. We launched these in Lambeth, so we do it for just the people of Lambeth. We also do them in Ealing, and we do them in another borough as well, Barnet. So yes, they've proved to be really successful and a lovely way to bring people together when we're not able to meet together in person. So thank you for listening to me, and yeah, would happily answer any of your questions later on in the session.